I'm supposed to terrorize the herd. That's my function.
On today's episode, we discuss The Tax Collector with big old spoilers.
Fatty spoilers.
He's Jay. I'm Alan. That's Ben.
Three bros with three opinions, all about movies.
This is Movie Jabs.
Let's go.
All right, so we were super hyped and super pumped.
I was butt size.
Understatement.
super hyped. And that's because we all love David Ayer. We think David Ayer is a great storyteller. We think
sweat
David
him.
Ayer is a great director. He's got some really, really good movies. He has Training Day. He has...
End of Watch.
And he has...
Harsh Times.
Harsh Times. Harsh Times is a sleeper. It's a Christian Bale movie.
I also liked Bright. Now,
Bright?
Not one of his best, but I enjoyed it.
No, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
So David Ayer has a strong history of making very good and very compelling police and gang-related stuff.
All in...
L.A. But why is that?
Because that's where he's from.
Yeah.
That's where he kind of grew up.
Well, so David Ayer, a little quick synopsis on him. He was born somewhere, but I do know that he grew up in Bethesda, Maryland, one of the richest areas in the country. And then his parents...
He was born somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, well, his parents kicked him out, and then he got booted to L.A. to grow up with his cousins. And in there, he was surrounded by...
That lifestyle.
Exactly. So he makes movies about it, and he does a great job. Now, that being said, The Tax Collector, not his best work. Not his best, and not his worst, but not his best.
We all had such high expectations. I wanted it to be a home run, and it was like a double.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
Baseball terms, huh? I like that. All
A
right.
double. It was a double.
Not a baseball guy. But
It was a double. He made his way to second. It was a good movie.
But it had potential.
Oh, it
Yes.
could have been. It
So-
could have been
For the Grand
great
Slam.
All right, so
movie.
let's get into it then. Ben,
go ahead.
give me. Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Just
All
go
right,
first.
So, I really enjoy this movie, but like you said, we had such high expectations, and I think the reason that is the trailer when it came out, it portrayed Creeper to be this like harsh, devil-esque like gangster, right?
Badass.
And the problem I had is you actually alluded this when we reviewed the trailer. You said, "Hey, do you think all the good parts of Creeper were in the trailer?"
That's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about.
So you said that, and then I said, "No way." Well, guess what?
It's true.
They were.
They were.
The best
Yeah.
parts of him were in the
Oh,
trailer.
why? Because Creeper was in the movie for how long?
10 minutes.
all of what? 35 seconds?
Yeah, about 30 minutes tops, and then he was out of the movie.
And the best part was they built him up in that 30 minutes. You were like, yes.
But-
kick some ass, Shia. Shia's going to go out there and beat some ass. But no.
But
No, he basically did nothing. You see some flashbacks,
But they don't
you see
show
who
much.
you see who he used to be. You see him sitting there like by that bathtub.
you
that
pretty
he
much
just,
see what his potential is.
right. You see who he used to be, but you don't see him in action. So it kind of the expectations were up here, but you just didn't see it.
And the one time you finally get to see him get into some action,
He literally gets killed. Yeah. He gets kidnapped and he gets tortured and then
doesn't even put up a fight.
gets a hammer to the shin.
He's got the cauliflower ear from MMA fighting, and you think, oh, this is going to be some great grappling.
He got
awesome
the
stuff.
chest piece tattoo with the creeper across the stomach, and
You don't. So I alluded there. I said this guy got a whole chest piece and Creeper. I go, he better be shirtless the whole movie.
you saw it for 10 seconds.
Not covered in
but
blood.
He was covered. So I said he's covered in blood. You didn't even see the tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean that's dedication, but you know that he got the script prior to getting that tattoo.
So let's talk about what went wrong from the beginning.
How much time do we got?
Yeah. So what went wrong from the beginning, in my opinion, is Bobby Soto's character, David, the other main character, the title character of the movie.
Which also, real quick, can I jump in?
Yeah.
So, with the trailer, I thought Creeper was gonna be the main.
yeah.
I thought Soto was gonna be in the movie like
supporting
so the supporting one, and then here come to find out that Creeper is the head guy, which I'm fine with. Oh, sorry, Dave is the main guy, and Creeper is like his right hand man, which I'm fine with. But there was no interaction with Creeper, and anyway, he was literally in the background, just kind of hanging out the whole time.
Yeah, he's like
It was
looking over Bobby's shoulder, like, hey, I'm here.
Right, yeah. So I'm just like,
Yeah, so Bobby Soto's character, what went wrong, in my opinion, is they spent so much time from beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, start to finish, about how he's such a nice family man guy, but also happens to be a gangster.
You know what's funny? That was your worry when we did the trailers. You said, I hope this doesn't turn into love story or a soft movie. And,
Yes.
and my reaction was, hey, it's David Ayers, man. Not gonna happen. We all had doubts, and they all became true. Like that's
So-
Not only that, you thought that the whole connection would be more between Creeper and David, and
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Right.
Creeper was just like a side piece, like there and just there.
Yeah, he-
but
he
he
was-
wasn't like a main function in this movie as much as he should have been.
Yeah.
And if he was, you're talking a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna watch this movie, a real fast summary.
don't watch the trailer before the movie.
Yeah.
Bobby Soto and Shia LaBeouf, two tax collectors, work for a grandmaster wizardy guy that is their
Head of a cartel.
Yeah, head of a
basically.
cartel.
They never named the cartel, but it's pretty much like
Yeah,
you know,
and
a
the
cartel.
They alluded to it's Mexico is trying to
yeah.
flip whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah.
script
So-
or whatever. So
so
the cartel
Wizard-
out of Mexico.
Yeah.
Wizard is in jail, but he still is the head honcho, runs everything. And he runs everything through Bobby Soto, who you find out in the end, spoiler, is his son, and Creeper. And they run around collecting 30% of all the earnings from every gangster. And how many gangs were there?
I think it was 43.
Yeah,
43 or
43 gangs in
47,
LA.
something
So
like that,
basically, the whole point of the movie is if you're a gangster in LA, you pay your taxes to the Wizard. And that's what
Or
Bobby
else.
Soto and that's what.
Right, or else.
Or else you deal with them.
Or else you deal with Creeper.
Right.
But you never see it.
But
Right.
so that was my thing. I'm like they kept building it up. I'm like, all right, he's gonna do it. He's gonna attack someone, and it never happened.
And
it
but-
was.
Well, half of it was because of how soft Bobby
Yeah,
Soto was.
So soft.
Do you know what it felt like? You know when you listen to a song, you're like it's building to get to like a drop or like
Yeah,
and
a nice EDM beat.
and it never
And
it just doesn't.
And it
It's
goes,
like,
right.
and you're like oh
Yeah.
That's
so
what this movie
excited.
was. That's what this movie
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what this movie was.
Yeah.
Now, with all that said, it still wasn't terrible. It still wasn't
No.
terrible. It just wasn't
I
great.
would still recommend it. It just wasn't anything where I'm gonna have in the same light as like his other movies, like
Training Day.
and to watch. It was good,
'cause-
but it wasn't.
Training
It wasn't
Day.
anything.
Training Day had you hooked from the beginning. They had you hooked because they went.
My
They
man.
jumped.
Well-
they jumped right into the action of what was happening. But this movie, it just dragged.
Well,
along.
also with you say you take Training Day, it also had what was his name? In it? Not
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
He
Great
got
actor.
to that point where he flipped the switch and he was like, "Nope, not anymore. This is my turn to be a badass. Do what I need to do." And you're like, oh, "Okay, here we go. Here we go." Now, David did that in this movie, but not nearly to the extent where you're like, "Okay, here we go. Here we go." You think it's gonna get there, and even when he kills a couple people at the end, it's still just never. You never had that connection with them either.
Yeah. So Ethan Hawke turned into the awesome badass in that movie.
Ruthless.
Stood his ground.
Yep.
And
A guy you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, and-
Against King Kong himself.
Right,
Yeah.
King Kong. Yeah, and
King
Bobby
Kong
Soto.
ain't got
Yeah, Bobby Soto in this movie, he tried to do that, but he did it with puppy dog ears the whole
So
time.
Yeah.
So I think I said this off camera to guys, or in the other review actually. Do you think that was because of the way it was written for him, or do you think that was just his take on David because the way it's written, I mean, it's pretty much family first, and then he is this tax collector that is also a gangster.
Right.
And
But for me, it's like, that's fine. That's fine if you write it that way. But then it gets to the point where we don't have any family anymore.
Right.
Spoiler,
Yeah.
they get them all
Yeah.
killed.
his
So
wife
at
gets-
that point,
yeah.
you need to just be like the most ruthless. I thought he was gonna be more ruthless
At the very
than
end.
Creeper.
Yeah, at the very end.
And yeah, even though he gets his revenge and kills, it still didn't get to that point.
yeah, no.
right.
it-
So that was even kind of a letdown for me. I was like, okay, I get it. He's killing this person.
So
okay,
you-
but
so
it wasn't
even-
it wasn't Denzel Man on Fires type stuff. It wasn't.
So even at the
Ethan
end,
Hawke,
where,
it
where
wasn't.
he's getting his vengeance, you don't think it was up to par of like?
No.
No.
Yeah,
Ca- and I'm not-
I agree.
No, he went to the African American Bloods with his tail between his legs, basically begging for help.
Crying and stuff.
Yeah,
and it was just.
wasn't.
So,
And I get it because he was the family man. He
defeated.
told Creeper several times, like, you can still go to heaven with all this stuff. And
Oh, they
he was,
focused on that hard.
Yeah, he was really.
Yeah.
It had a lot of religion into it, and he was really, they
then
really
again,
portrayed him as a really nice guy who just happened to be
The-
in this life
but-
because of his family.
I'll
They
say-
called it the family business.
I was gonna say that's my thing. So because at the end of the movie, again, spoiler, but when he's talking to Wizard, his dad, and his dad says they came for you and you beat him. He's like, I know your wife's gone, but you're gonna have all the power.
Yeah.
And then
I don't want that.
David literally says, I don't want it, and then hangs the phone up. So to me, that says that throughout the whole movie, he was just doing this, David, that is, because it was kind of like in his. It was expected of him. It wasn't in him. It was expected of him because he was that was his family business.
Right.
But all of this could have been better if I think there was better editing in the way they pieced it together. I think they focused too heavily on the front end of building Bobby Soto up as the family man to where you got sick of it, and then finally started to jump into the action. But once they jumped into the action, they just cut it off short.
Or if at the beginning of the movie they kind of really hinted at the fact that this is not who he was. If they would have done that, then you would have said, okay, at least I know who he is.
They didn't do a good job selling.
They did the opposite.
Yeah, they didn't develop him very well because they had him trying to act like a hard ass.
And
so you thought that's who he was going to be, then he wasn't.
He gave that speech to, I think it was Victor, the guy that replaced the new drug lord that comes in to be, I guess, taxed. So when he gave that speech, it made it seem like he's going to be this badass.
Right.
But
even that speech, I didn't really believe him.
Well, and Bob, so that's what I was saying earlier is Bobby Soto didn't have the oomph that Shia LaBeouf had. Shia LaBeouf was he was completely believable. He nailed this role.
Open your mouth.
He'll splatter your brains out. I don't want that.
I do. I want that.
And he was sold short with what they did to his character because he nailed this role.
You could see it in his mannerisms and the way he stood, the way he carried himself was just different.
If you take him out of this movie, it's a complete flop for me.
Oh yeah, because Bobby Soto's character, Bobby Soto, not the worst actor in the world, but I don't think he's going to be your leading man. He shouldn't have been the leading man in this. There were scenes where he did a good job, but then there were some scenes where, like the love scenes, or where he's like supposed to show that he's scared and stuff. It just made me think of a soap opera.
But again, I also think that there's a scene where he's in bed with his wife, and he asked her to tell him a story about how she got together with him, and she pretty much says that, you know, my dad was abused by my mom, and you were this like up and coming like gangster, and I wanted to.
I heard you killed people.
I wanted to come down. I was gonna make you fall in love with me and have you kill my dad. And he literally says, "Someone always wants something out of me," and he's like,
"And I didn't think it was you."
Yeah,
right. And then he rolls over. I'm like,
he rolls over like a coward.
So I'm just like, so that's what our issue is. Yeah. We thought this was going to be a straight, hard gangster movie, and it's kind of soft.
You get there for like 30 minutes,
and it turns out to be kind of soft.
Now
maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe that was his whole vision for the movie, and that's perfectly fine. I think the audience just expected something different.
It was false advertisement.
With the trailer, I think that what the trailer was, and then what this is just kind of two different stories. And maybe that's just the issue. Maybe that's exactly what he wanted, but I just think he kind of missed the mark with what
Shia LaBeouf deserves a standalone movie entitled Creeper. And they show how he grew up. I would be in love with that movie.
All over that.
That would be sick.
All right, David, when you watch this, just do that.
Yeah, make a Creeper movie. So,
Kenny's dead.
All that being said, how many jabs you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 jabs, but this could have been a 10.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed, but you know what? If I didn't watch the trailer and I didn't get so hyped up for it, because I try to withdraw myself and say, well, if you didn't, buy into the hype and get so excited for it, what would it be? So it's a 7, but it could have been a lot better.
It's such a the three of us would text, be like, hey, we got 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, and literally at midnight, Jay's like, I got it. I'm watching it right now. I'm so excited.
I'm buying it right now.
Right. And I watched it this morning, and I watched it. I was like, not that good. And then I text my brother. I go, hey, I finished text. He's like, oh, it's out? So it's like he didn't know. We were so disappointed because we were so pumped for this. Having said all that, I'm going to go 6 out of 10 just because I wasn't.
Yep. And I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
I will recommend it, but I was so disappointed with how I had such high expectations. I just felt. To me, it felt so short.
All right, can I talk now?
Yeah.
I cut your mic a long time ago.
Oh, no. All right, so I give it 6 out of 10. And I give it 6 out of 10 because it fell flat. I give it a 6 out of 10 because they robbed Shia LaBeouf of one of his potentially best performances ever. And they had a potential to tell a really compelling story. And it just was too much of the lovey-dovey, family man stuff. I just didn't like that.
Good kind of breakout role for George Lopez, though.
Oh, George Lopez.
In a different sense, I look at him as a comedy guy, but he was believable in this movie as a gangster.
He really nailed the scene where his head's in the cooler. Really nailed that.
All right, so Let us know what you think.
Yep.
All right.
Give it a watch.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
All right. We're out.